Renovating Retirement with Charlie Jewett. Oh no, I think I'm about to have another episode. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 121 in the trenches with Andy Guzy in Chicago. And Andy, it would be pretty hard to explain to the listeners, or for them to know how long you and I have actually been trying to get to this, trying to record this, right?
Well, this phone call we've been trying to do for about 2 years, I think.
So this is really interesting for me because you have kind of an interesting story because you kind of, you always were a financial advisor just, straight out of college, weren't you? I don't think you've ever done anything else.
Well, yeah. I mean, while I was going to college, I got into this industry in 1999. That's, right before the whole dot-com bubble busted. Things were good. Right before then, everything was booming, everything was great, and I started working at a local bank while I was going to college, help pay for college, and the bank actually helped pay for my college and
nice.
Helped me get it worked out really well in the beginning. It was wonderful. They helped me get licensed, they helped me get my Series 6, my Series 7, my Series 63, life and health, and all the licensing, and then it was a great place to start. I loved it. But then you get older and mature and you start finding out what's going on. They started teaching me the things that they only wanted to teach me. You don't know everything that's out there if you're young and what's happening and what's going on around you is you're just blinded by what their teachings were. And their teachings were, just basically sales. It wasn't education. It wasn't taking time to find out what their goals were, trying to hit their monthly goals and revenues.
Yeah, we just had somebody come to us, and she said she'd had visited, with 4 other advisors from different places, and on that list of 4 were, a couple of name brand mutual fund organizations, retail mutual fund organizations, real popular, big places that everybody would recognize. But there was also some local banks, Andy, on that group, and you worked inside the bank, and I kind of want to know your perspective on that because I think it would be easy for people to go and try to get advice from their bank because they're in and out of there a couple times a week. They built relationships. They know the people. It looks like a big, well-established financial services institution, so why wouldn't they have great advice? But are people really getting, unbiased, independent, fiduciary advice, what's best for them at the banks if they go to their bank, or is something else possibly going on there?
Well, I left the bank in 2006, Charlie, so I've been out of the bank, for about 12 years now. But when I was at the bank, the mergers weren't going on yet. With Chase and JP Morgan and all these different brand names merging with these big wirehouses. That wasn't happening yet. But when I was there, we had one mutual fund company that we're allowed to sell at the time.
One.
So everybody had one mutual fund family. That was it. And we had one annuity.
One annuity? So everybody got exactly the same annuity no matter what?
Yes, one annuity, one mutual fund, and that's all we were able to offer to our clients who needed financial advice. So, anybody that's listening, you obviously know one annuity, one mutual fund is not going to solve every single person's goal. It's not. You got to, as an independent now, that's one of the reasons I, went on my own. I've done it for all those years, and I wanted to, be able to offer my clients what's best. I didn't want to be in the pressure of selling something to somebody that I didn't think was the best for them. I wanted to see what else was out there. And I always said to myself at the time, I wasn't married, I had no children. I said, I'm going to try it. If it works, great. If it doesn't, I could always go work for somebody else and go back to that model. I'll tell you, being around all these different independent advisors and being associated with one of the top, financial organizations in the country, and top advisors in the country, and learning what was available, what's out there, and just wealth of knowledge, it's night and day. It's night and day. You now have access to the best products, to the best, companies, and whatever's going to fit your client's needs, you were able to get them that product.
Yeah. Now, could you ever go back to that, Andy? If somebody, some bank came along and offered you a just ripping high salary, I'm sure you have contacts in the bank still. Could you ever go back and work for a bank kind of peddling whatever it is they want to push on people and not be independent anymore?
I've been offered very high salaries. And, I've been offered big money, not just to basically help train how I was trained in the bank. And it's more of sales training. It's not doing what's best for the client. It's a sales training. You're not training them on what the products do. You're training on how to sell. So I'm not comfortable with that, It's just like when we're meeting with clients and it's more of educating them instead of selling them. That's the difference here. I see.
Right.
I would never go back to the bank. I mean, I can never say never, but where I am today and what my position is today and where I've been independent for the last, 12 years, I don't see myself going back.
Now, you and I both know there's a type of personal character out there that we have that unfortunately I think is rare in the industry, right? Which is why I started this show. Once you get a taste of doing what's right for people, or you kind of see what's going on in the industry and you see what it's like to actually be an independent fiduciary, being free to work for the clients and go represent your clients to the industry and say to the industry, okay, what do you guys have? What's everybody offering? And then you go back and you build your clients a plan that's built out of the absolute best tools. So you're certainly not going to one insurance company or one bank or whatever. You're picking whoever's got the best pieces and building an entire plan. Once you get a taste of that, it would be really hard, I'm sure, for you to return to the banks. For me, I actually started as an independent, but you and I have been on similar paths. You started at the bank, realized that they weren't doing what's best for people, or you couldn't do what was right, and you left and went independent. For me, I was independent from the beginning and ended up realizing what was going on in the industry and becoming the financial services industry whistleblower and starting this show and trying to be a consumer advocate. But it's pretty dark out there what's happening.
I mean, think about when I made my changes in my career. Is 1999 I got into the business. So I got fully licensed. I mean, what happened right after that? 2000.
Yeah, tough year to get in, man.
So I went through some tough time, right? It was a very tough year. But you know what? Every time I've gotten into this business, I've seen markets get hit like that. It's actually, I loved it because I've seen a lot of advisors that were just a salesman get out of the business. They were gone. And the good people who actually were honest and did tell the truth and help their clients we're still there, and it worked out even better because you were able to get more people come to you than before. And then I went independent in 2006, and think about a year and a half after that. I mean, you had 08, right? And that was the time I went independent on my own to start my own business with no salary, no nothing, right? I mean, you're on your own trying to start this business, and it was the best thing I ever did. And Here we are again now in 2018. That's sometimes going on today.
Yeah, I think the stock market is down again today, isn't it?
Yeah, and that's what this whole week's been pretty bad here.
Now, you and I tend to agree that this market is oversold and overpriced, and we kind of need to see a correction. But you gave me some really great statistics on how long this bull market's been going on and how high the prices are. Can you tell the listeners that?
Well, basically, we're looking at some data and some information when they're determining PE ratios, price to earnings ratio, how expensive something is. Right now, during this point in time, this is the third most expensive stock market in U.S. history. I mean, the most expensive stock market was the dot-com bubble, 2000, 2001, 2002. The second most expensive stock market in U.S. history was 1929. We all know that time. The fourth most expensive stock market was in 08. So right now, our market's more expensive than the market of 08. And it's the longest bull market. I mean, since then, the market's just been going straight up. How long it's going to last, nobody knows. And we're not here to predict that. We just know the data that we've been provided from past. Most of our clients, we really don't care about that much data from the past because we're not planning for the past. We always talk about this, Charlie. We're looking out for their future, okay? And we want to make sure their future is protected. I mean, no one cares about the past. Like you always say to me, I mean, what was the weather in 1967? What do cars look like? Who cares?
Yeah, I'm not going to look at the past to see what the weather was like 30 years ago or what traffic reports were on different highways 10, 20, 30 years ago. The only thing I care about is what's going on right now, and it's the same thing with our clients. So similarly, I don't really care what the market was doing during the time that all of the baby boomers were 20, 30, 40 years old. Let's say 40 or 50 in their peak earning potential, and they're saving all kinds of money and buying in the market and driving the market up because they're buying, and ignore the fact that now most of those baby boomers are retiring at $10,000 a day, and they're starting to sell stocks instead of buy.
Oh yeah, I mean, look at the biggest generation of the baby boomers. I mean, look at the housing market, what they did. I mean, look at the housing boom we've had, the stock market boom. I mean, those are the same people that are now retiring. So they're the same people that got to take out their RMDs. They got to start pulling money out of the markets. I mean, so they got to start selling shares. I mean, and more every single year. I mean, this great run we had, I mean, who knows, right? I mean, nobody knows, but we just got to plan for it and properly and use all the tools that are available. If the stock market is good, great. We'll use it for, if the, income is good, we'll use income. It's basically making sure you're using all the tools and just being transparent.
Andy, would you ever tell your parents to just ignore every other tool and just go back to the one that worked from the 70s to the 2000s and just tell them, take all the money in your life, mom and dad, and just stick it in the stock market, get a broker somewhere, just put it into stocks, bonds, and mutual funds. As long as they're diversified, that's fine. And just, take an income off of that. Take out 4 or 5% every year. We don't know what the market's going to do while the baby boomers are retiring. Like Andy said, there's all these RMD issues. They're forced to take money out, which is selling, which drives price down. But Andy, would you ever tell your parents that? Just stick all your money in the market and let's kind of hope it works out and hope you don't run out of money before you're done needing income?
No, because I always tell my parents or clients or my wife or kids, hope is not a plan. A plan is basically having a written income plan, having an estate plan, that's a plan. Having some type of a plan is a plan. Hope that the market keeps going up. Hope that we can take out 4% per year. Let's hope that, we die at age 85 or if we live longer. That's all hope. Let's hope that it does what it used to do. Hope is not a plan. And I always say that. So no, I would never tell my parents that because I want to have a plan for my parents. I want to have a plan for my children. I want to have a plan for me. I want to have some type of written plan that I can relay back onto and look at and say, okay, this was my plan. That's all hope, that it keeps doing what it did. There's no written answers to that. And then basically, when you're planning, there's two different things. There's a financial plan and a retirement plan or an income plan. All are different things, okay? We just got to figure out what is the best thing for us. Are we looking for an income plan? Are we looking for a retirement plan? Are we looking for a estate plan? Or are we looking for a growth plan? What is our plan?
Now, Andy, this is a good place for me to ask this, but, the whole point of these In the Trenches episodes is for me to talk to another advisor, whether they're on my team or partnered with me or just completely independent of me, but somebody I trust, who's seeing, hundreds of people a year, doing hundreds of financial plans, reviewing hundreds of financial plans, and seeing what's out there, what people have been told to do, what they're doing, and giving good advice. And isn't it kind of essential, as someone that sees hundreds of people a year, isn't it kind of essential when they come in, no matter how they met you at a seminar, referral, came off the podcast, and they're in Chicago, so you get them, whatever it is, isn't it kind of essential when they come in to ask them, the money you've saved in your life, do you need it for income? Or are you just so rich that all we're talking about is leaving money behind as an estate and avoiding taxes? But for the normal person, because we know most people need to take an income, isn't it important that you ask them or that you find out, do they need income, and actually provide an income plan for them?
Yes, it is, because pension plans are gone. Right?
Yeah.
There's still some companies that do have pension plans. That was income. When you're working, you get a paycheck, you get a bonus, you get a salary. That's income. Income has to be replaced by income. Stock market does not guarantee you any type of income. That's all assumptions. And most of the clients that we see, they have the big lump sum in their 401k plans, and they want to draw income from it. And majority of these clients all had their money in where? Stocks and bonds and mutual funds. I mean, that's basically in part of their 401k plans. And I wish, I'm starting to see it now, Charlie, where I'd never seen it before, where a lot of these 401k plans are starting to offer annuities.
Oh, good. We need that.
The beautiful thing, right?
Yeah,
it's a bad word, but it's a good thing, right? I mean, people, when they hear that term, annuities, they're scared. Like, I've heard nothing but bad things, right? Or the media, talks about, this is bad. Why is annuity bad? Well, people are not educated.
Yeah.
The type of news that were around in the 40s or 50s or 60s are not the type of news that are around today. Just like cars. The type of cars that were around in the 50s and 60s are not the same type of cars that are around today. Technology. Where was technology years ago? It's not the same thing.
Yeah.
Just having that education and basically making sure they are educated. And that's the only way, Charlie, we honestly will bring any clients on, is if they can explain to us, what is it they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing. They have to be comfortable enough knowing exactly what is that they're doing and having an education to make that decision themselves. They don't need me. They don't need you. They don't need Edward or whoever or Morgan or Joe or Fred. They don't need any of those people. They need feed themselves and have them have the education. That's what we provide, right? That's what makes the difference is who's going to give you the most education.
Right, exactly. And you and I are both passionate about education because there's stuff that people believe that's changed over time, right? Like, it used to be different in the world. Annuities 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, annuities were not what we'd want. You and I would not recommend an annuity from 20, 30, well, say not recommend an annuity from 40 or 50 years ago, because you and I both know that if you put a bunch of money, so you took somebody's entire IRA or entire life savings and put it into an annuity years ago to create an income stream. We both believe in pension income and having paychecks, but if we did that years ago and they passed away, the insurance company would keep the entire annuity. They keep everything they put in, and the family would be left destitute with no income and no benefits. So that's changed over time. So people need education, not a lot of education. You don't have to become a financial advisor. You just need to have someone share some information with you, like us, and just say, here's the way things really work today. You go, I didn't know they worked that way. I didn't know I could get a paycheck. And I mean, Andy, I just had a client die. I just had a client, unfortunately, lose her husband, one of my dear friends. I love this man. And we are now getting back all of the money he contributed to the annuity that was supposed to start providing a paycheck for him next year. And in addition to all the money they put in, all of the interest they earned. So she's getting, as a death benefit, all the money he put in plus everything he earned on it before turning on income. She's getting that back as a death benefit. And, were annuities always the answer? No. There was a time, Andy, don't you remember this, or don't you agree with this? There was a time where, go back to our grandparents or great-grandparents, where a financial plan really could be as simple as sell your farm, put all the money in the bank, and live off of the interest.
Oh, yeah, because I worked at the bank. I remember those times when I'm not that old, but in early 2000, interest rates in the bank CDs were paying 7%, 8%. People were happy. And you had grandma come in to the bank with her passbook.
Right.
Every single month. She got Social Security check that was put in a passbook. Then guess what else came in? The interest from the CDs that she lived off of. That was the times, of course. I mean, if they go back to those times, I'm sure people will love that. Get just stuff. But what made it? Why were they happy though? Because they had a guaranteed check and their money was protected.
Exactly, protection of principal plus income.
Exactly right. So you now have what we're trying to teach people is you need that. That's and people are living longer now. People are living a lot longer. So if people are living a lot longer, where's this money going to come from? If not protected, you need some kind of protection. And transferring that risk from yourself to somebody else, that's the ultimate protection, like a home. You're transferring that risk if the house burns down to where? An insurance company. Your car. You're transferring that risk. Your health. Your life. Everything is transferred over.
We're basically talking about retirement income insurance, just like any other insurance, where you'd protect yourself against something happening that was, unfavorable, right? So you've got fire insurance. So if your house burns down, they replace your house. They pay to build a new one. You've got car insurance. So if you're in a wreck or somebody else hits you and that car doesn't work anymore, it gets replaced by the insurance company. So we're talking about income replacement. If the market doesn't do well or you run out of money in every other strategy, you're done. You're destitute. You don't have any income. But in these types of strategies we're talking about with annuities and pension income and income plans, if you run out of money, the insurance company that backs you up will just keep paying you and your spouse a paycheck until, forever, until you pass away.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And those are the happiest clients we have, are people that, they're on the beach and they like this week, the market went down 800 points, 700 points, whatever it's going down, they're okay because they know that's money that they were willing to risk. Because guess what's going to happen on the first of the month of January? What's going to happen? They're going to get a direct deposit check and they're going to have enough money to live off of and they're going to keep enjoying their life. And whatever's left for their kids, great. But they're not worrying about they're going to run out of money. They're not worried about what the markets are doing because that's okay.
Now, why would anybody tie their ability to live the lifestyle they want to after working all those years? It's finally the golden years. You work 30, 40 years, you're going to retire and have the best years of your life. Why would anybody tie their ability to pay their bills and to have discretionary income to do all the things they like, go on trips, give things to grandkids? Why would anybody tie that to the stock market, Andy? Why would anybody risk that and say, you know what, I think I'll just hope things work out and completely gamble with my retirement income unless a really good convincing salesman told them to do so?
Well, that's exactly what I was just going to say, is because they love their advisors. Their advisors are telling them to do something. They're not educating themselves. They're told to do something. And in reward, they're going to give them a nice, a bag, a nice pen, and they're going to give them, a nice Christmas gift and a holiday party. It's beautiful. I'd rather personally, if it's me or my dad, I know my parents, I'd rather have them enjoy their own Christmas party and their own Christmas dinner if they have enough money. I don't need a broker telling them or whoever it is, let's go to party, but in return, you're going to have $5,000 less of income this year. I mean, great. I'd rather have the $5,000 and let them do what they want with it.
Yeah, if somebody's got a $500,000 portfolio and they're paying between 1% and 2% in fees, I'm including hidden fees that you don't know about. So if your broker's like, yeah, I only charge you 0.5%, that's not actually true. But if they're paying 1% to 2%, they're paying $5,000 to $10,000 a year. That only pays for a nice Christmas party you could throw for yourself and all your friends. You don't need to overpay a broker to go to their Christmas parties and get some presents. But for $5,000 or $10,000 a year, you could take a vacation and throw an incredible Christmas party, and nobody needs that.
It's nice, of course. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everyone likes free things. But when we're playing with somebody's retirement and someone's money, that's not the way to do it.
And you've heard me talk about this with my book that I'm writing called Peanut Butter Marketing, and sort of the whole peanut butter marketing concept is that, dogs don't eat pills. Dogs eat peanut butter. And I'm not saying that people are dogs. I'm including myself in this whole group of people that buys things from other people, consumers that have to deal with salespeople, sales pitches, advertising, marketing, things like that. To get a dog to eat a pill, you wrap it in something that it likes. You make it attractive. You put it inside the peanut butter. It eats the peanut butter, therefore swallows the pill. So if you're doing good to your animal, that's a way to serve them, to use that peanut butter as a way to serve them. However, if a dog owner was, to turn around and put a piece of glass in there, or a razor blade, or some cyanide, or a placebo, like not actually give them the pill that they needed, but give them kind of nothing, and trick them and use their love for peanut butter and their attraction to it to trick them, that wouldn't be appropriate. That's not good behavior, right? And so the issue that I'm having in sort of the Renovating Retirement podcast and the movement and what we're doing with clients in our company and things like that is, we need to see, like, yes, this industry has learned to make things attractive to you with these trips and these beautiful offices and things like that, but we need to peel back that peanut butter and see what it is they're actually having you swallow. Like, what is their peanut butter marketing getting you to ingest? And Andy, I mean, you've seen, I like to talk to people that are seeing hundreds of people a year. You're say the last 10, 20 people that have come through your desk, are you seeing them, that their advisors, have great attractive practices, they're giving lots of gifts, and they're helping them to do what's absolutely best for them? Or are they still just jamming them into a bunch of securities because that's what pays best?
Last probably 9.5 out of 10 people I seen, everything was stocks and bonds. There really not one person came into my office with a written income plan. Nobody did. And every single one of them was looking for income because they're retired or they're retiring and they want income. And not one had a written income plan, and not one had any kind of, protection for income.
Yeah.
So it's who does all the commercials on TV? I mean, is it your independents? Who's doing all the commercials?
It's just the brokerage firms.
Exactly. You're seeing where are they getting all this money to do all that? Where's it coming from if they're not generating fees? I mean, those commercials are expensive. Those offices are expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong. I got a beautiful office, but I got to pay for it.
Exactly. And the office is a really good thing to talk about in line with this kind of peanut butter marketing concept, because I really don't have a problem with people having a nice office, even though it sounds like that when you listen to some of my episodes or some of my shows, or the way I talk about, water bottles with your name on it and warm nuts and waterfalls and things like that. It's not really the office that I have a problem with. It's people using a nice office, building an incredibly comforting, trustworthy, convincing environment, and then using that to butter people up and then hurt them at the point of sale or when it's time to make a decision, right? So it's not, if you, like you do, you have a beautiful office, but what that means, because I know your character and I see the financial plans that you build for people, what I know about what I know about you is what you're doing is behind the scenes, you're saying, I'm going to do what's right and make whatever is appropriate by doing the right thing. And then because I love my clients and I want them to be comfortable, I'm going to spend my own money and have a nice office when I wouldn't have to. You didn't have to spend the money that you spend. But that's not really normally what people are doing in this industry. They're usually using the office as a way of getting people to settle down or feel comfortable or think they're a big shot and think, oh my gosh, look how wealthy this guy is, he can help me, and then turning around and not doing what's best for them. And that's what I'm having a problem with.
That's the sad part about this business, to be honest, is, when you look at two advisors or two people, and, one might be smarter than the other, everyone seems to judge a book by its cover. You're going to walk into a beautiful office and you're going to get this beautiful image and welcomed by a beautiful receptionist, and right away people are thinking differently. That he must know something, he's doing very well for himself. Versus going to somewhere down the street and just, average office and, guys wearing a polo and khakis and not a high fancy suit. People look at that differently. Already they come in with a different image that this guy must know a lot more because he's doing a lot better. And that's not the truth. That is not the truth at all.
People who listen to the podcast might, be familiar with episode 85, Charlie, what's your net worth? Where during a seminar, a workshop I was presenting, somebody asked me, well, Charlie, what's your net worth? And tried to make it about how successful I am or what I've been able to save. Am I disciplined or not, right, at 46 years old? And you were actually in the room. People don't know this, but you were actually in the room watching that lady ask me that question, right?
Very persistent.
Yeah.
There's like 3 or 4 people that three or four times, that she asked the same exact question.
Mm-hmm.
And how does they determine your plan? By knowing how much you have. If you have your answer was anywhere between 0 and $1 million. So if you have 0, that means you're not as good of an advisor, versus if you have $1 million, I don't get it.
Exactly, and I think what I actually said to her was my net worth is somewhere between 0 and $100 million, but you've already lost. If I matter, if Andy matters, if the two of us that are going to be presenting this plan or giving you information, if the two of us who hand you truth that has nothing to do with us matter to you, if our net worth matters, or the office we have matters, or the car we drive matters, whether we had a bankruptcy at any time in our life matters, if we matter in the slightest, you've already lost the game because you're focused on the wrong thing. Because listen, Andy, when push comes to shove, what would somebody really prefer? I want you to, if you're listening to this podcast, I want you to think about this. What would you really prefer? The wrong retirement plan, as long as your advisor was rich, they had a really high net worth, and their office was spectacular. So it's not about you. As long as you have a rich guy or girl sitting in an amazing office giving you that terrible plan, or would you prefer a great plan, the right plan, the best plan from someone regardless of who they are? Someone, let's say, that 2 years ago had a bankruptcy and doesn't have a high net worth, or someone that this is their first year in the business but they're still telling the truth, or someone that holds different religious beliefs, or someone... Andy, if somebody just got out of jail for murder, let's say, I don't even know if you can get out of jail for murder, but something horrible, and then they give you the best financial plan that you can have, and you get to enjoy that for 30 or 40 years, which one's more important to you? The net worth of your advisor, the fanciness of their office, the car they drive, or the plan that you actually get? It's always about the plan. It's not about the peanut butter. Now, I do understand that the person, the advisor, the one you're talking to, in some sense, they kind of are the peanut butter. You walk into an office, it stinks. The guy's naked and smoking, and he's like, I haven't showered in 12 weeks. Come on in. Okay, fine. You're not really going to like that guy. You don't want to talk to him. He's smelly. He's off-putting. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the difference between, if you think about the question the person asked you, what is your net worth? We're talking about an invisible characteristic that nobody would ever know, right? Guys, the net worth of a financial advisor is directly related to either how many clients they can serve or how much money they make per client. There's a direct relationship between ripping people off and overcharging and being rich and having a high net worth in this industry, okay? Most of them are rich because they're ripping people off. Now, I kind of get it. I'm like, well, I don't want leadership, Charlie, from someone that hasn't gone before me and gone there. And yes, if you're trying to cross the Mexican border illegally into the United States, maybe you want a coyote, which is what you call a leader, the guide who's done it 7,000 times successfully. And okay, I get it. In some industries, you kind of want that. You want a pilot who's actually flown a plane before. Nobody really wants to hear from their brain surgeon, I just got out of school and this is my first time. Right? Nobody wants that. But, guys, do you realize if you were to limit yourself to financial advisors who've already accomplished what you want to accomplish, they'd all already be retired and there'd be no financial advisors? By definition, any financial advisor who's still taking clients has not accomplished what you are trying to accomplish. And by the way, it does not take Andy and I or any advisor having accomplished anything to tell you the truth. You're going to tell me you want to go to a 7-Eleven? Say, Charlie, can you tell me where the closest 7-Eleven or convenience store is? And I say, oh yeah, it's right over there. You go 2 blocks that way, you turn right, you'll see it right away. And then your next question is going to be, well, have you ever gone there yourself? Did you do this walk? Did you do this drive? Have you done it before, Mr. Leadership? I haven't. I'm sorry. I've never been to that one. I've driven by it. I'm not going if you haven't gone there before because that's my priority. Guys, it doesn't matter. You hear me? The net worth of your advisor, the past mistakes of your advisor, not talking about mistakes on client profiles. I'm talking about personal life mistakes. Have they been divorced? Have they been bankrupt? What's their net worth? What kind of car do they drive? It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is the financial plan that you get. And it's not based on their net worth or their office. It's based on whether or not they have the ability to take truth from where we get it and carry it over and put it in front of your eyes and say, here's the truth. Or along the way, are they a shyster and they hide some of it or they lie about it? Period. Sorry, Andy, I've been on my soapbox here for a couple of minutes, but what do you think about advisors who pitch their net worth or one advisor over another, yada, yada, yada?
What makes a difference between them and anybody else? When I look at it, is basically they're better at what? One thing than we are. They're better marketers, right? They know how to sell better. They're better at marketing. The marketing is a whole different thing than an income plan or a retirement plan or a estate plan.
Like, nobody refers their advisor that way. Nobody goes to a friend at a party and like, oh my gosh, you got to talk to Jerry. He's so good at marketing. He's the most incredible sales guy. You're never even going to know it in the paperwork. All of a sudden, you're just signing paperwork and signing up. You don't even know what it's for. Nobody wants that.
Right. They don't. But that's what they're good at. That's how they get the people in the office. That's how they build those trusts.
Yeah.
They're just really good at marketing and getting people in the door. And all these commercials you see on TV, what are they good at? Commercials are marketing. It's all advertising. That's what they're good at. They hire good marketing people to get people in the door. And and that's what happens.
Now, Andy, let me ask you this. You're licensed in obviously Illinois and Wisconsin, also Michigan, Indiana, California, Hawaii. You can get licensed wherever somebody is. But, if somebody were to come and talk with you, or they get in touch with the show and they want to talk to you, or if for some reason you could just get a message to everybody out there, what's the one piece of advice that you think would be most helpful for anybody who's hearing this? The one thing, if they had to do one thing just to start to make their retirement plan better or to get more clarity, what's the one piece of advice that you would give to everybody?
The second opinion never hurts. I mean, a lot of the people are just comfortable and they've had what they've had and never went out to get a second opinion or see what is better or how things have changed. I always look at the different products, and people change their cars, people change homes, people change a lot of different things. And having a second opinion, or even doctors giving a second opinion, I think a second opinion is very important. Just to have another set of eyes look at it and compare and contrast and educate you on what it is that you have and how can you do better. Or, when you come to us, you're going to have two great answers. One is, congratulations, you're doing very good. Or two, congratulations, we can help you. That's the only thing we'll tell you. And if you want our help, that's great. We'll help you. But if not, I mean, that's okay too. I can't help everybody, and I can't get along with everybody. I mean, there's going to be people that don't like my personality, and it goes both ways.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because I've been telling people for years that, why not come in, let us look at your stuff, whether it's virtually, you live somewhere else, or whether you're in one of Andy's territories or one of the places that I have people or an office. Why don't you just come on in and let us look at your stuff, because you're only going to get good news or good news. If everything's perfect, we're going to pat you on the back and say, you're doing an incredible job. And frankly, I might interview you or your advisor on my show, or make your advisor one of my mentors, because we don't see that, like ever. We never see somebody whose financial plan is set up properly. We only see the kind of problems and mistakes and or sort of malpractice that I talk about on this show. So we're either going to say, great news, you're the first person ever who's come in and you're set up properly, so that is awesome, you can sleep well at night. Or we're going to say, you know what? We found a way to do some incredible improvements in your life, and frankly, not even really have to charge you. And Andy, I don't think people realize this. So let me use an analogy so they understand what I'm talking about. Imagine if I could remodel your kitchen at no cost. How many people would say yes to this? Charlie, why don't you come into my house, or Andy, why don't you come over to my house and take a look at my kitchen and just find anything that you think you could make more beautiful, more functional, more enjoyable. We're at a dishwasher, or add an island, or maybe a place to hang some pots and pans, maybe open up the wall, give you a window so you're overlooking the lake while you're doing the dishes, whatever it is, rearrange things, move things around. Can you make my kitchen any better? And if we turned around and said, not only can we make it better, but we're not even going to charge any money for it. The people that that create the products, the dishwashers and islands and fridges and stuff, they're going to pay us to do this work. And you're like, what? No way, that's incredible. How many people would say yes? Tons of people. What if I did it with backyard remodeling? I came to your backyard and said, oh my gosh, what would you like different about your backyard? And you're like, I want a pool with a slide, right? And I say, okay, I can put in a pool on the slide, and the pool company's going to pay me. You don't have to pay me. Andy, we're in a very unique industry where we can look at what people are currently doing, remodel it, rejuvenate it, improve it, just make it better in any way. Lower fees, less taxes, higher income, less risk, higher returns, more money left behind when you pass away, more money for long-term care insurance paid for by somebody else. And the consumer doesn't have to pay for that remodel in most cases. That's an amazing place to be. It's a very unique industry. Now, if you'd like help from myself, my team, or Andy, just get in touch with me. Charlie at JewettWealth.com. Charlie, CHARLIE, at JEWETTwealth.com. Or you can call us, 888-285-2268, 888-285-2268. You can look me up online, Charlie Jewett, spelled Jewett, and find all kinds of ways to reach me. You can also look up Andy Guzy online, ANDYGUZY. And Andy, if people just want to go straight to you and just get straight in touch with you, what's the best way for them to do that?
773-767-5700.
Now, they could also just search you on Google, right? Andy Guzy, ANDYGUZY. You could do GuzyWealth.com because you're Guzy Wealth Management, and they could just find you that way as well, right?
There you go. And then if some clients are willing to come with me, we'll take them out to Hawaii and visit with you also. How's that?
Oh, yeah, I'd love it. Let's do it. Hawaii all day, brother. Hey, man, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm sure that the listeners are going to benefit a ton from learning from you the way I have. I appreciate your friendship over the last 2 or 3 years and the partnership that we have in helping people in Chicago. Definitely going to have you on the show again. Why do Andy and I take our time to do this? Because we think you people are the best. Ciao.
But that's all, folks.